Hello Izzy, I'm going to read you the second chapter in the stories about the adventures of the wishing chair, and I've done this in two parts. So in the middle I'll stop for a bit, and if Mummy says that it's okay we'll carry on reading, and if you need to come back to it another day we'll do that because they're a bit long, aren't they? So this story is about the giant's castle. So if you remember last time, the children had met the wishing chair and it had gone back to their house and they weren't sure how to make it work or what to do with it. So this is the giant's castle. Each day, Molly and Peter ran down to their playroom in the garden and looked at their wishing chair to see if it had grown wings again. But each time they were disappointed. It hadn't. "It may grow them in the night," said Peter, "but we can't possibly keep coming here in the dark to see. We just must be patient." Sometimes the children sat in the chair and wished themselves away, but nothing happened at all. It was really very disappointing. And then one day the chair grew its wings again. It was a Saturday afternoon too, which was very jolly as the children were not at school. They ran down to the playroom and opened the door. And the very first thing they saw was that the chair had grown wings. They couldn't help seeing this because the chair was flapping its wings as it was about to fly off. "Quick, quick," said Peter, dragging Molly to the chair. "Jump in, it's going to fly." They were just in time. The chair rose up into the air, flapping its wings strongly, and made for the door. Out it went and rose high into the air at once, and the children clung on in the greatest delight. "Where do you suppose it's going?" asked Peter. "Goodness knows," said Molly. "Let it take us wherever it wants to. It'll be exciting anyhow. If it goes back to that funny shop, we can easily jump off and run away when it goes in at the door." But the chair didn't go to the old shop. Instead, it kept on steadily towards the west, where the sun was beginning to sink. By and by, a high mountain rose up below, and the children looked down at it in astonishment. On top was an enormous castle. "Where's this, I wonder?" said Peter. "Oh, I say, Molly, the chair is going down to the castle." Down it went, flapping its rose-red wings. Soon it came to the castle roof, and instead of going lower and finding a door or a window, the chair found a nice flat piece of roof and settled down there with a sigh, as if it were quite tired out. "Come on, Molly, let's explore," said Peter excitedly. He jumped off the chair and ran to an enormous flight of steps that led down inside the castle. He peeped down. No one was about. "This is the biggest castle I ever saw," said Peter. "I wonder who lives here. Let's go and see." They went down the steps, clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, and came to a big staircase leading from a landing. On every side there were massive doors bolted on the outside. "I hope there are no prisoners inside," said Molly, half afraid. The stairs suddenly ended in a great hall. The children stood and looked in astonishment. Sitting at an enormous table was a giant as big as 6 men. His eyes were on a book, possibly just like this one, and he was trying to add up figures. 3 times 7, 3 times 7, 3 times 7, he muttered to himself. "I never can remember. Where is that miserable little pixie? If he doesn't know, I'll turn him into a black beetle." The giant lifted up his head and shouted so loudly that both children put their hands over their ears. "Channy! Channy!" A pixie, not quite so big as the children, came running out of what looked like a scullery. He held an enormous boot in one hand and a small boot brush in the other. "Stop cleaning my boots and listen to me," ordered the giant. "I can't do my sums again. I'm adding up all I spent last week and it won't come right. What are 3 times 7? 3 times 7, said the pixie with a frightened look on his pointed little face. "That's what I said," thundered the bad-tempered giant. "I know they're the same as 7 times 3, said the pixie. Well, I don't know what 7 times 3 are either, roared the giant. You tell me. What is the good of having a servant who doesn't know his tables? Quick, what are 3 times 7? I don't know, stammered the poor pixie. Then I'll lock you in the top room of the castle until you do know, cried the giant in a rage. He then picked up the pixie and went to the stairs. Then he saw the children there, and he stopped in astonishment. Who are you? What are you doing here? He asked. And there we're going to pause for a moment, and if Mummy wants you to go to bed or to do something different, we can do that. Then we'll come back in a minute, so you can stop here. Okay, I'm going to carry on reading now. We're reading this book, if you remember, The Adventures of the Wishing Chair. We've just come on a flying visit, said Peter boldly. We know what 3 times 7 are, and 7 times 3 too. So if you let that pixie go, we'll tell you. You tell me then, you clever little children, cried the giant, delighted. They are 21, said Peter. The giant, still holding the pixie tightly in his hand, went across the table and added up some figures. Yes, 21, he said. Now, why didn't I think of that? Good. Let the pixie go, begged Molly. Oh, no, said the giant with a wicked grin. He shall be shut up in the top room of my castle, and you shall be my servants instead, and help me to add up my sums. Come along with me while I shut up Chinny. He pushed the 2 angry children in front of him and made them go all the way up the stairs until they came to the topmost door. The giant unbolted it and pushed the weeping pixie inside. Then he bolted it again and locked it. Quick, whispered Peter to Molly, let's race up these stairs to the roof and get on our magic chair. So whilst the giant was locking the door, the 2 of them shot up the steps to the roof. The giant didn't try to stop them. He stood and roared with laughter. Ha, 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 ha. Well, I don't know how you expect to escape that way, he said. You'll have to come down the steps again, and I shall be waiting here to catch you. And what a spanking you will get. The children climbed out onto the flat piece of castle roof. There was their chair, standing just where they had left it, its red wings gleaming in the sun. They threw themselves into it, and Peter cried, Go to that room where that little pixie is. The chair rose into the air and flew over the castle roof and down to a big window. It was open, and the chair squeezed itself inside. Chinny the pixie was there, sitting on the floor weeping. When he saw the chair come in with the 2 children sitting on it, he was so astonished he couldn't even get up off the floor. Quick, cried Molly, come into this chair, we'll help you escape. Who's talking in there? Boomed the giant's enormous voice, and the children heard the bolts being undone and the key turned to unlock the door. Quick, quick, shouted Peter, and he dragged the amazed pixie into the magic chair. They all 3 sat on it, huddled together, and Peter shouted, Take us home! The door flew open and the giant rushed in just as the chair sailed out of the window. He ran to the window and made a grab at the chair. His big hand knocked against the leg and the chair shook violently. Chinny nearly fell off, but Peter grabbed him and pulled him back safely. Can you see? The giant is reaching out of the window, and the children and the pixie are up in the chair, flying away over the top of the castle. They then sailed up high into the air, far out of the reach of the angry giant. We've escaped, shouted Peter. What an adventure! Cheer up, Chinny, we'll take you home with us. You shall live with us if you like. We have a fine playroom at the end of our garden, and you can live there and no one will know. What fun we'll have with you in the wishing chair. You are very kind to me, said the pixie gratefully. I shall love to live with you. I can take you on many, many adventures. Hurrah, shouted the children. Look, we're going down to our garden. Soon they were safely in the garden, and the chair flew in at the open door of the playroom. Its wings disappeared, and it settled itself down with a long sigh, as if to say, home again. You can make a nice bed of the cushions from the sofa, said Molly to the pixie, and I'll give you a rug from the hall chest to cover yourself with. We must go now because it's past our tea time. We'll come and see you again tomorrow. Good luck. And that's the end of that story in the Wishing Chair series. So I'll come back another day. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll read you another story. Okay? And I love you very much, darling. Bye-bye.